Hey everyone, Patrick here. After making video number 3 about simple motion controlled lights, a lot of people ask me what would be necessary to extend this to make it also do separate timing for manual control. That is, if someone walks up to the light switch manually and turns it on, they want a longer delay before the lights are turned off rather than the automatic delay that's related to the motion sensor. That actually is the function of the DelayLight plugin, and I recommend that you use that plugin. It's got a lot more features and purpose-built for exactly that kind of timing and very simple to use. But if you want to do it in Reactor, it's certainly possible, and I'm going to show you sort of the skeleton of an implementation of that I've done right now. So let's dig into that right now. I'm just going to show you here from the status view. I'm going to show you how it is that I've built this. The first thing, actually, let me go to the expressions tab for a minute. First thing. The start state variable I've created here is going to store the current timing mode. If it's blank, there's no timing going on. If it's automatic timing, it's going to say auto. If it's manual timing, it's going to say man. And there's no expression for that, which means that Reactor is just going to carry whatever value we assign in our activities. So the activities will set it to auto or man as needed, and then other places in our conditions we will actually check that to make sure that we're using the right timing. So let's go back to that now and let's have a look. At the start here we have the auto on group. This is a 2-condition group. It looks to see if the start state is blank, that means timing is not going on, and to see if motion is being sensed. Motion sensor tripped equals 1. If those 2 conditions are met, that's an auto on trigger. And what that will do is we have an activity behind the scenes here. I'll show you that later. The activity will turn the lights on, and it will also change the value of start state then to auto to indicate that we're in the automatic timing mode. The manual on condition is similar. It's got a little bit more to it. It checks to see if the garage lights are being turned from off to on, or whatever lights. I'm using garage lights in this example. It makes sure that the motion sensor is off. It's not triggering motion, so that basically what we want to do is we want to make sure that this condition does not detect the lights coming on when auto mode turns them on. So that's why these conditions are set up the way they are. And then finally, the last thing to help gate that is it's checking to make sure that start state is empty again, that there's no timing going on. So this condition can only be met when there's no timing going on and the lights are turned on manually. Let me try that real quick. We're going to do both. So let me quickly hit the auto timing, and when I hit the motion sensor here, we'll see a very fast group transition here. It's hard to even tell that it worked, but look here. Our start state is now auto, and this group down here is true when the lights are off. We're testing garage light status equals 0, and it's false. So the garage lights are on at this moment, and it's got a 15-second delay here, and then it's going to turn these lights back on, and there we go, the lights are back on. So that was the automatic delay. Let's look at the automatic trigger. Let's look at the manual trigger. I'm going to turn the garage lights on manually. And here I've turned them on manually, so you even didn't see a transition there, but believe me, the transition is happening. These 2 conditions are true, and we're waiting basically for this condition to go true, and I'm going to walk through that in just a moment. But the garage lights are off. This is a 30-second timing cycle for manual. I just chose 15 for automatic and 30 for manual, just to make a differentiation that we could see in this video. But of course, if you're doing this in your home, you probably want something more like 10 minutes and a half hour, or 15 minutes and 1 hour. Who knows what you want, but you want probably more longer delays than that. So now our lights are back on. Let's look at the off conditions real quick here. To detect the end of automatic timing, we have 2 conditions, very simple. We look at see if start state is equal to auto. So if we're in the automatic timing mode that was previously set up here when we went into the automatic timing mode, and if the motion sensor hasn't detected motion for 15 seconds. If those 2 conditions are met, then that's an auto off. For the manual off, we check to see if start state is anything other than auto. And this is kind of a safety valve, just in case this sensor gets confused by something that's happened with the lights or something like that. We want to make sure that something eventually turns off the light, that the light's just not left on indefinitely because the sensor thinks it's not in any timing mode, but the lights are actually on. So by eliminating basically the one condition that's handled by auto off and handling all other conditions here, which are basically blank, no timing's going on, and manual timing's going on. This sort of serves as a catch-all for all other modes. When the motion sensor has detected no motion for at least 30 seconds, and if the garage lights have been on for at least 30 seconds, which they're currently not, then this will trigger and it will turn off the lights. So let's try that again. I'm going to quickly do that. I'm going to turn the garage lights on manually. So now we can see here, if we look right here, we can see that status equals 1. This is now true, but we're not yet triggered. We're not yet tripped here on this condition because we're waiting for the delay to expire. We're waiting for that 30 seconds to accumulate. And so we can see we're in the manual on mode. So when this 30 seconds accumulates, then the garage lights will turn off and this condition will go true. And we'll wait just a moment. There we go. All right. Now, this delay, both of these delay off conditions have the same activity, and that is that they turn off the light. Rather than have an activity for each of these groups separately, I just put them into a surrounding group called delay off, and this group has the activity that turns the light off. I made it an OR group so that if either one of these conditions goes true, then delay off goes true, and that in turn will turn off the lights. I'll show you all those activities in just a moment. The last group I want to look at here is the lights off group. This group has one condition. All it does is check to see if the lights are off. And if the lights are off, it sets the start state variable back to blank. And the reason I do that here on a separate group and not in the delay off groups is that if the operator walks over and turns the lights off manually, then these delays, or at least the manual delay, can't be met because it's checking to see if garage lights have been on for 30 seconds. That will never be true. And if we're in manual mode, not in auto mode, this can't be true. And so there's no way to reset the current timing state. But it makes sense that anytime the lights are turned off, the timer should stop, the timing state should stop. And so this group, the activity for this group, all it does is set the timer state, the start state, back to blank. So let's go look at the activities now. And here we are. So when auto on is true, when our auto on conditions are met, we set the start state equal to auto to mark the fact that we're in automatic timing mode, and we turn our garage lights on. When the manual on group is true, we don't have to turn the lights on. The lights are already on, so all we have to do is set start state equal to man. When the delay off group, and remember this delay off group is the containing group for the two other groups, one for delay off auto and one for delay off manual. When the delay off group goes true, if either one of the auto or manual groups has gone true, then all we have to do here is turn the lights off. And then when the lights are all off, that's a completely separate test in a separate group. When the lights are off, then this action is going to set start state back to blank. Okay, now we could set start state back to blank over here in delay off, but we need to check if the lights are turned off manually anyway, so it makes sense to do it here instead. So we're going to go back to status, and I'm going to run these one more time. And again, I want you to be aware that some of these group transitions happen very quickly, and they happen faster than the UI can show. Let me turn the garage lights on. We'll do the manual timing first. So the garage lights are now being turned on. Our test here has gone false. Our manual on group is true, and we're now in the manual timing mode. So the garage light status equals 1. This is a match, and we're waiting for this delay to expire. When this delay expires, the lights are going to get turned off, and we're going to see start state go back to blank. So we'll wait just a second for that. Jeopardy music. It's a 30-second delay. There. So now our lights are back off. We can see status equals 0, and we have state blank. Now let's do the auto timing again. I'm going to tickle our motion sensor here. We didn't even see that transition in the auto on group, but we know it happened because start state went to auto and the lights are now on. This group is not true. which means the lights are on. And in 15 seconds for this timing, see, we're waiting up here for these 15 seconds. Bang, that group is gone. True, and there we are. And we are back into normal timing. Our lights are off, our start state is blank, and we're ready for the next transition. Okay, so that's it for this exercise. I hope it's been instructive, and if you like this video, by all means, please give me a thumbs up. As always, I'm here on YouTube, and if you want to know when more videos come out, hit the subscribe button down below. If you want a notification as those videos come out, hit that little bell icon that's next to it. If you have more interesting problems that you want me to try and solve, either on the forums through description or here in a video, by all means, please chime in over at the Vera community forums. That's community.getvera.com. And you'll find me there in the Reactor topic, and my handle there is RigPapa, R-I-G-P-A-P-A. Thanks again for an interesting exercise, and I'll see you guys next time.